Hi Mike, hi, how are you? First of all, I'd like to say thank you for your dedication and working hard, which I really like to see whoever I teach, um, because it makes me motivated too. Makes me want to even study harder so that I can help you even better. So whenever I see student really working hard, it makes me uh, it just makes me happy. Anyway, just want to say thank you for all your effort you put into golf. Want to get better. Now, as we discussed and like we saw last night, there are a lot of things that you need to know to put everything together. Um, Now, obviously, I cannot explain everything at one lesson because sometimes I do forget to mention things. To be honest with you. Uh, However, I try to put as much as you can observe. Um, you know, you have ability, and in person you have a certain you cannot work more than 4 or 5 things at a time. So when you practice, we only can work one at a time, the maximum. Because when you try to do 2 things at a time, you're not gonna get work done. It's difficult and it won't be any. It's not a very quality work, I would say. So when you work on things, I just want you to work on that we went over during the class. Don't try to think that, oh, if I do this, I think I feel it's better. That's your feedback. However, in the lesson, I want to be very clear that what we learn in the lesson, I want to be clear so that when you go to range practice, you know exactly what you need to do. So, like I said, so far we worked on the hand rotation, which is the club face rotation, right? The second thing worked on was our leg action, right? Our leg knee action, because all the power and everything comes from ground and up. Now you want to use your feet, and then you want to use your leg. So for example, we're not turning our hip because using our legs, the hip is actually moving. We're not trying to rotate the hip, we're trying to use our legs, but it appears that your hip is turning. Now right side, you have to push to the left and not turn. We talked about that. Now, and also we talked about was bending and extending our right elbow, which bending and extending our right elbow is gonna bring the club up and down. So we don't do this. We're not using our shoulder as a hinge to bring the club up and down. What we are using is our elbow as a hinge to bring the club up and down. You see my shoulder is not moving. I'm just bending my right elbow, is moving up and down. Okay, this is called right arm action. It's called right forearm action, okay? So, as you see here, I'm gonna do a little demonstration here. If we can just move it up and down like this, and use our legs to turn, you can see that's our backswing right here and the downswing. Okay, so the key is to understand what your arms are responsible for, and what your legs are responsible for, and what your hand is responsible for. And think about this. That's all we have to use. Lower body is our legs. Upper body is what? Our arms, right? And we need to use a hand to do what? Rotate. Now, in the past we talked about you gotta use a big muscle, like you gotta use your coil, you gotta use your, people think, oh, you gotta use a big muscle. You cannot use a small muscle. But think about when you're throwing a ball. when you're throwing a ball, you're not actually trying to use your torso as a power. You're trying to use your shoulder, elbow, hands as throw as you can, hard as you can. However, because you try to do that, your upper body and lower body work as a source. It's very passive. It's not actively used. You don't actively try to use your torso as a power, you know. So or the dominant. It's just a support, you know. So the main, in order to be really good at golf, I would say, if I want to educate somebody, I'm always tell people we need to educate our hands. So if we have a good hand, if we really know how to educate our hand, then every other parts of body will fall together, it will come in together, I would say. So from last lesson, we know that the club has to fully released before impact, and because it's everything turning, that creates impact right here. Now, and I told you again, I'm going to remind you, I don't like people practicing slow motion. Yes, it's good sometimes if you're using a chip shot because you're doing slow anyway. But when the full swing, it's okay to slow motion once, but don't try that as to get the feedback, get the feel. Because when you're moving at 5 miles and when you're moving 100 miles, it's the feel wise, it's not gonna be the same. And how the club and your body work in a 100 miles per hour swing is totally different. Like I said, when we release the club at the ball, we try not to release at the ball. We try to release at the behind the ball, because by the time when you rotate it, that's where impact happens. So because time is so short, we have to, think ahead pretty much. We have to prepare something, like throwing a hammer throw. If I want to throw a hammer this direction, I have to let go of my hands here so that hammer go out this way. If we time it to let go here, it's already late. The hammer will go this direction. So same with the golf, because it's moving so fast. Our reaction time is so slow. So we need to compensate that. We have to think ahead, I would say. So the key for you was, because left arm gonna go up this direction, right? When left arm going up, you're not gonna do this because you cannot, so it's gonna go this way. You're gonna go up, elbow up, foot up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So that's the golf swing. So arm, I want you to just remember this. Your club always has to go up and down. Okay? Because your body is bent, it's inclined. When it's going up, it's gonna look as it's to the side. Okay, it's tilted on a plane. But for feel wise, if you want to know feel, the action wise, I would say, it has to go up and down all the time. Up and down, up and down, straight up and down. Okay? Now, so arm, we have to go up and down. The legs, this one pushes up, and this left leg pushes up, that turns your hip. You're not trying to turn your hip, or you're trying to extend your left leg and push left with the right foot. So watch here. And then what we don't want to see is moving everything together. So we want to keep our head where it is, just lower body, boom. So when you see a lot of players, when they do quick, their foot moves like this, which is okay, okay? So boom, Get the head where it is, boom. Okay? So do that for me, practice a lot. That's the most important for me. I'm a little tired here. So do that for me. And the next lesson, I'm gonna make it more, I'm gonna put it together even much better, you know? So arms up and down, using your elbow, right? And left knee straightens, right leg pushes towards target. Boom. Okay? Good. So we'll see you next time. And if you have any questions, you always can call me, okay? Okay, see you next time. Bye-bye.